All right, everybody, and welcome. I think we are live. We got some real fun technical difficulties directly before we
Yep, looks good to
started.
me.
All right, cool. Um, okay, perfect. So let us know in the YouTube chat if we are live, if you are seeing us. I have the YouTube chat and the Twitch chat
Yo.
up right now.
We
Hello?
don't have what's his name in here?
Who?
Bob. Bill. What's his name?
Oh, Craig.
Craig. There
Oh,
you go. Throw him in
Craig.
there.
All right, 1 second, guys. I knew there was going to be something I was forgetting. All right. Let's go here. If I open up this, it should not interfere. Famous last words.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, all right. I think it's still working. So 1 second, guys.
I am gonna have to edit Jesus.
Yeah, good luck.
Oh,
now recording.
Oh fuck.
Hang on.
Oh shit.
We're on the fly here, everybody. We are on the fly. Hang on. 3, 2. There we go. All right,
Oh,
everybody.
my God. I didn't know my man popped up like that.
Welcome to the show. We got Craig, and then we got Craig out. Craig is still recording us. All right, thank you. We are live. Okay. Oh wow, we have. It looks like. Oh wow, it looks like we have 13 people watching us right now among the 3 platforms. All right. Well, welcome everybody. A bit of a bumpy start here. We got some major technical difficulties. It told me that we don't have much editing for a live recording. Yeah, we'll see how much he likes the editing process once we're done. Bro,
I got this. Don't worry.
All right, we'll find out.
I'll mix it correctly. I think. Hopefully it'll sound okay.
All right.
I hope. Don't worry.
Well, welcome everybody to a bit of a bumpy start to episode 19. Maybe it's because it's an odd number. I'm not sure. But we are now rolling around about 15 minutes late, but we are all good to go. So first and foremost, I just wanted to quote one of Planet Film's favorite films. You can go back and listen to our 2-part, right? I think we did it in 2 parts.
Yeah.
2-part review.
Yes.
Of Lawrence of Arabia, and that is we want you to be part of our big push. And that is the big push from Lawrence of Arabia, also known as our big push for our social media, which is what we have been working on. If you notice, which I'm sure most of you have, we did not have a show last week. We're just trying to work out the scheduling now that TJ's back to work, and now that now I am back to work, which we will talk about a little bit later. Shout out to one member of the audience as well. Congratulations, or not congratulations, however you want to look at it. All right. Well, anyways, as you can see, we took off last week to revamp our social media presence and to kind of focus on, just kind of doing some TLC for the podcast feed and the brand as a whole. So you can go ahead and follow our new and improved. I mean, it's new, but it's also pretty good, I might say. Which is I just lost my whole train of thought. Which is our Instagram page, which is going to be at planet_film_pod.
Yeah.
So at planet_film_pod.
Yeah.
Yes.
Just quick with the goal of the Instagram feed.
Yes.
Obviously is to update you on the show. But also I think more of kind of what I want to do with it is kind of post updates on what's going on in the entertainment space. So like we did, or like I did, or we both did, with the New York State thing that we'll get into in, a little bit later, but it's kind of more what I would like to do, as well as update you when we're going live. If a new video comes out on the channel, let's go with that. So far, I think we have 32 followers, I want to say, which honestly is pretty good. That's already, like, no offense, Sean, way higher than the Twitter.
Oh, yeah. Well, also, I feel like a lot more people are on Instagram. And I feel like that is kind of one of the reasons why we wanted to start it, is because we could reach a much wider space of people that maybe not
Yeah.
everybody is on Twitter, but most people that have a Facebook also have Instagram.
Yeah.
And I think I think we'll start modest. I think we're at 32 now. Let's set a goal to hit 50. Let's make it a real lofty goal. Let's make it 50 by New Year's.
Okay.
Let's try to do
I
that.
think we could do that.
Yeah, well, then we can feel good about ourselves. Let's try to
Yeah.
hit 50 by New Year's. So for anybody who's out there watching, go follow us at ooh, uh, go follow us at planet_film pod on Instagram. Also, while you're at it, if you're not already, you can still go ahead and follow us at Planet Film Pod, just all one word, on Twitter. Most of
Yep.
the stuff that we are posting on Instagram is also going up on Twitter as well. Sometimes we will put the actual picture in. Sometimes it'll just be the post with the little link to the Instagram post, which you can open up and see even if you don't have an Instagram account. But yeah, so without further ado, do you have anything else you wanted to talk? Oh, also, we should probably talk about where you are watching this right now, which is newly the Planet Film Network channel, YouTube channel. So as many of you know, I've had previously been doing a lot of gaming videos. I was uploading daily to the Pasty Eating Yak channel. Since that already has, I think, close to 25, I think, subscribers
I think it's 20.
now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's 24 or 25 around there. I didn't want to just start over with this show because so much of it already lives on that channel. So because the gaming is still kind of up in the air, I'm going to kind of move that more towards Twitch. We are going ahead and we're just rebranding this channel as the Planet Film Network. Every single video that we do is going to live here. All of the main long format shows will be still up on the audio feeds, and you can now go to our Instagram, our Twitter, and this YouTube channel, and you can link to our All My Links page, which is allmylinks.com/planetfilmpod, and that will bring you to a link to all of our audio feeds, both my Letterboxd account, where I rate and log and review all of the movies I watch, and TJ's Letterboxd account, where he does the same. And just any important links as well. So we're really trying to get to the point where we're almost to episode 20 of this main show. We're trying to really, foster a situation of community around this. So we're really trying to get everybody on board with that. So anybody that that likes film or just likes good discussion, go ahead and send them the thing. Share them our Instagram profile and ask them to follow. It doesn't cost them anything. Get some cool posts and some cool graphics and some cool movie news as well if they don't follow a couple already that does movie news. But with that, did you have anything that you wanted to say specifically about the social media or any of the changes that we've been implementing?
No, unless you have any do you have any short topics you want to talk about? Do you want to get into any banter, or do you want to just hop in the news?
Trying to think. I don't think so.
Have you done anything the past 2 weeks? No, nothing much.
Not really. I mean, I just like I said, today was officially my first full day back to work, which was interesting, and we'll talk more about off air, I'm sure. But we will talk a little bit about it in one of our main topics today, because it's kind of a big one for where we live and for the country and the world as a whole. But one thing that I do just want to shout out to is, I know, I've been watching the YouTube algorithm, and I noticed, more power to you guys, watch however you want to watch. I do see that, some people, they kind of trail off after the review, but I would stick around for today's Shooting the Shit, which is always the last thing that we do on each show. It's going to be a very, very cool kind of discussion about the One Has to Go, kind of Twitter, what do you want to call it? Not meme, but Twitter thing that's been going around. And yeah, also if you want to listen to...
Interrupt you real quick. Do we want to talk about council or no? It's not listed in the show notes, so I was like,
I completely forgot to put it in there. Yeah, well, I just wanted to finish what I was saying real quick, which is if you do like stuff like that, where it's, conversation based off of Twitter trends, you can go ahead and listen to a friend of the show, Rants on Fire. Their first episode is all about a Twitter trend that happened a couple weeks ago about oh, what was it? It was the one where it said the movie villain
The real
slash
movie
the
villain,
real
yeah.
the real movie villain. They did a great breakdown talking about, you know, movies and TVs and how kind of villains are portrayed and who maybe the real villains are to the characters versus who it is in the actual script. Really, really cool discussion. It's about 50 minutes. Go ahead and follow them. They're on all the same podcast feeds that we are. Just go ahead and look for Rants on Fire there. But yeah, then I promise, guys, there's a lot of housekeeping up top here, but we really don't have a lot of news, so it's okay. It's probably still going to end up being a shorter show. But the big thing, well, we'll see.
We say that every week.
we say that every single week. But the big thing is, you know, I know you guys have been missing it, and we haven't been on top of it. But also, you know, kind of, I'm gonna blame this on Star Wars itself, which there has not been much Star Wars in the world lately. Oh, hello. Yep. Which is no one's fault except maybe Kathleen Kennedy, of course. No, I'm totally kidding. But as many of you know, we have Star Wars coming back very, very soon on October 30th, which is in just over a week. Mandalorian Season 2 will be kicking off on Disney Plus. And to celebrate that and to keep track of that, we are bringing back, yes, officially, we teased it on the Instagram, if you go over there, and we just talked about it a little bit here. We are officially bringing back Planet Council. Now, it's not going to be the full-length hour show like this type of show. It's going to be a shorter, more, what I want to say, more concise, more narrowed down, pared down show. It's going to be a main review show of The Mandalorian. And I believe, schedule permitting, we are going to be starting that this Saturday, the 24th, where we're going to be kind of doing, and like we said, it'll be a shorter show. That one will probably be even shorter, maybe like 25 minutes or so, where we're just going to kind of, you know, kind of do a little tiny look back on Season 1, but mainly a look forward to what we're expecting in Season 2. Then we're going to do, you know, an episode every single Saturday. I believe we settled on it being an afternoon show, so it'll be Saturdays. I think we're thinking around 2 p.m. We'll update the socials with any further information on that. But we're going to do one every single week, just like we did with the last season, you know, after the fact. But we did that with the last season where we did one episode on Mando every single week. And we're going to be doing that again as they come out. It'll be the Saturday after the Friday that it airs. And so, yeah, you'll be getting that for quite a bit. And then, of course, after that, we'll do a big finale show. That one will probably be longer, where we're, you know, wrap up the whole season. And then we'll see where Council goes from there. Because, I mean, we're building back up the steam train that is the Star Wars universe. So if they have things to offer us to watch, we'll review it.
I'd probably have to agree where it's content permitting. Whereas if there's content, then yes. But if there's like, you know, if it's from now until we get like the Obi-Wan movie or series, then it's like, well, you know, there's not much to talk about.
Exactly. But on the same token, if Mando Season 2 wraps up and then immediately we get all this flood of news that's Ahsoka series is a go at Disney Plus. Cara Dune getting a spin-off movie. Like if all that starts... If the fires just start going up again at Lucasfilm, we are going to talk about it. It's like he said, that's a great way to put it. It's content permitting. And also, just it's a little bit looser. We haven't banged out all the details with Donald on Planet Hero yet, but that's also going to be that same type of thing. Because that WandaVision... And guys, I have to throw this to you too. You guys gave us these ideas because that WandaVision video that me and Donald did, that I know a lot of you guys watched, you guys really responded to that shorter format. So that's what we're trying to do here. We're trying to get people engaged for a little bit longer. We just, you know, building a community here. So we want to be honest with you about why we're making the decisions that we are. And I think it's going to be for the better in the long run because we got, you know, close to 50 views on that WandaVision trailer reaction. So it's going to be the same thing for Hero. It's going to be content permitting. And again, that is definitely going to be a show that the content will permit it coming very, very soon with WandaVision most likely, and then just steamrolling right ahead, depending on, you know, certain release dates and stuff. But with that, TJ, did you have anything else you wanted to talk about, or anything that I hadn't brought up?
No, I think you kind of touched on everything.
All right, perfect. Yeah, I just wanted to make sure I wasn't leaving anything out, like talking
yeah,
about
I
the
think you're
entire
good.
thing about council that I forgot about, which is great. But without further ado, I think we can go ahead and get right into the new news segment.
Okay.
Like I said, it probably is going to be, maybe a little bit of a condensed show because we only have 4 topics today, but they are pretty good
Mhm.
topics. Oh, no, I'm sorry. 5. That's right, because I did just remember that news broke directly before we started, which is actually in the title of
Oh,
the
right.
episode.
Yeah.
So why don't we actually just go ahead and let's just start off with that. So let me pull it up
Okay.
here. But what are your thoughts on this? What are your thoughts on this being the final?
Okay. With the web page up, they can't hear your audio.
Oh, okay, just one sec. Well, for those who don't know, just because
Yeah.
again, we'll be honest, we recently, well, I recently switched the reason why
Streaming
there's so many
softwares.
issues is
Yeah.
I did literally transplant the entire show into a different software. So we're just kind of working on it right now. I just have to simply drag this over. So if you will bear with me in 1 second while I add our audio to the other slides, I'll be with you in just a second.
Okay, they can. I didn't know that.
Now they can. And now they can. Okay. All
Okay.
right. We are so sorry about that, guys. Like
Oh,
we said,
boy.
we did no, not a good day for technical difficulties at all. But like I said, we transferred the entire show, every single asset that we have into a totally new software. So I was expecting some bumps, but we have them all hammered out now. So let me take that back for a second and start again and just say that the Fast and Furious franchise is set to end with the 11th and final film. Now, this is going to be directed again by Justin Lin, who kind of revitalized the franchise with the last couple of films. Also, a really good director outside of that. But you hear this. What are your thoughts on, after so many years and so many movies and so
Yeah.
much craziness, this franchise, Dom Toretto, his family is finally over? What are your thoughts?
This family will never end. Are you kidding me? They're going to be having Coronas in the backyard at the cookout for
Yeah.
till they're 80. I
You
don't
think
know
this is
what
just going
age
to be
they're.
spin-off city?
Oh, I didn't even think about that, but maybe. But
Mm-hmm.
if these next 2 movies
Get a
are
Ludacris movie?
amazing, or next 3, right? Ending at 11, is that what they said?
Yeah, so there'll be Fast 9 and then 10 and 11.
Yeah. If these next 3 movies hit, they're definitely making more of this franchise in some way, shape, or form. Who
Mhm.
I want to know who said they wanted to stop this, because I can't imagine Vin Diesel was like, "I'm hanging it up, guys. I'm hanging up the." I don't know, does he wear something? What's significant that Dom Toretto wears?
The cross,
Like,
right? Doesn't he wear the cross
I'm
necklace?
hanging the cross up. Yeah,
I'm hanging up the
cross
white
up.
Peter. I'm hanging up
Yeah.
the keys. Come on, he's putting the keys up.
Like, when do you think? I can't. Like, when would this? How would this even end? Like, it's got to be some big tragedy, right? Like at the end of this, maybe at the end of the upcoming
You think
movie?
maybe okay, what about this? What if the last movie is Paul Walker's back, right? He's back. They get one of his brothers in. They're going to CGI
Oh,
the
my
brothers
Lord.
again.
Yeah.
11th film ends. Dom's got to leave his family for one last ride. And him
For the
and
11th time.
him and what is the guy's name? Brian, right? That's his name. Paul
Yeah.
Walker's character. Him
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Brian, they got to get in the space shuttle and they got to go to
Oh
Mars.
my god, I forgot about
They gotta,
space.
They got to go to Mars. I mean, that if we're
Yeah.
getting
I don't-
space in the 9th movie, imagine what we're gonna get in the 11th.
Yeah.
They're going to Mars.
And they're flying in space, and they go, look, there's somebody, and you see Tom Cruise.
pull a Twilight Zone. There's something on the wing.
Yeah.
It's Tom.
But if like in all seriousness, I think they'll make like more Hobbs and Shaws and stuff like that. I could see like a maybe like a Ludacris spinoff. Probably not a Tyrese one, because I feel like he's just not liked. I feel like this is like he does Fast and Furious, and like that's it. Like he did that I think it was Black and Blue. It came out like last year. It's like some cop movie. He did, but I feel like this is like the only like big name films that he's like does.
Don't sleep on Mr. Gibson, because remember, he has a big starring role coming up in Morbius.
Oh, he does. I didn't even know that.
He does. He plays the main.
Okay.
He
All
plays the
right.
main
I take
guy.
that back.
Yeah,
But I could see like a Ludacris. Oh, and doesn't Ludacris's character have like a girlfriend in the movies?
Oh, I don't know. I've never seen a single one.
I could see something with that. I think she's like she can like hack into stuff and something like that.
Oh, is he dating
so
what's her face from Game of Thrones?
Is that her? Okay,
I think so.
her.
Yeah,
That's what I
she's
was
in those
thinking of.
movies. Yeah.
Yeah. So I could see something like with that. I feel like they've built this universe enough where it's like, they could, or maybe in the 11th one we see the Rock return. Do you think?
Oh, return to the mainline movies.
Yeah. Even though there's been stories of
Now,
Vin Diesel and the Rock.
did you see
not
Hobbs and
getting
Shaw?
along, and I still have not seen it. No.
Okay, that's the only one that I have seen. All I know is that movie ends with like this big mysterious voice who's like this overarching villain. I wonder if the whole franchise is going to end with whatever that villain is.
Wow, a Thanos type villain in Fast and Furious.
Seriously, you got to watch Hobbs and Shaw, because that is like how they hype this guy up.
Yeah.
Like literally that it's like this like crazy voice who was like, spoiler alert for Hobbs and Shaw, who was like behind Idris Elba.
Okay.
Yeah, but it was somebody from their past.
Oh,
yeah.
huh. I wonder
No
who it
idea.
could be.
People were thinking that it would be like Keanu Reeves or something. I don't know.
Oh my god! John Wick versus the Fast and Furious people.
And also, don't forget, these movies could get really crazy, because now we have Ryan Reynolds is in this universe now too. Because he's
in
Hobbs and Shaw. Yeah.
Is he like extra credit though?
No, he's throughout the movie. He's in the end credit.
Okay.
Yeah, but he's in the movie. Yeah.
He's throughout the movie. Okay.
Yeah, he
All
works
right, wow.
for like the I know way too much about these movies for never having seen a single one.
Yeah.
Because I watched a Cram It with Dan Merle. Go watch Dan Merle's Cram It of Fast and Furious, where he breaks down the entire franchise in preparation for Hobbs and Shaw, which really did help, because I retained the information somehow. But yeah, Ryan Reynolds works for like the agency that Kurt Russell does in those movies.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they like work together.
All right.
All right, so I think that's enough Fast and Furious talk.
Yeah.
We just wanted to get that out of the way, because literally right before we went on, I mean, you can see here, this was at 7:17 p.m. So this was like just less than an hour before we went on. So next up, we'll go with the regular stories, which there are only 4 of. The first one's going to be pretty quick, but it's pretty cool news. So right here, we have pulled up on screen, we have that Jake Gyllenhaal is set to star in and produce an HBO limited series, which is great news on its own. But also you see that this is going to be called The Sun, which is based on a novel by Joe Nesbo, which is apparently a very, very beloved book. I've never read it personally. But then kind of the third layer to this, which is the cherry on top, if you will, is that Denis Villeneuve is set to direct the entire series.
You mean the master?
What you? Yeah, the absolute master of film right now. Absolutely. So, what are your thoughts on this reteaming of Gyllenhaal and Villeneuve?
I'm very excited. I cannot wait. I still haven't seen. I mean, like I said 2 weeks ago, our last show. I just recently watched all of Villeneuve's, like, I say like major, like he has like movies that I haven't seen,
Mhm.
but the ones that are like major releases, like 2049, Enemy, um, Arrival.
Oh,
So,
he
you know,
did do enemies. Yeah, so
Prisoners.
this is the
Yeah,
third
yeah.
reteaming of him and
Oh,
Gyllenhaal.
oh, Prisoners, right? Duh.
Yeah,
I was like,
Prisoner.
what's the other one?
That's
That's
what
what I was thinking
it's
of.
so funny because I like Enemy even more than I like Prisoners, but what I was thinking of was Prisoners when I was thinking.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
like
yeah.
completely forgot
Um,
about Enemy for a second,
I
which
feel
is
like
a
this is
fantastic
like
Gyllenhaal movie. By the
HBO
way.
just like I like
They're killing it.
they like don't miss, and
No,
I,
they
in
do
my
not.
opinion, I don't think they'll ever find anything as big as Game of Thrones was. Even its last season, you know.
But they're looking,
But
man.
while a lot of people didn't like, yeah, like with the like, don't forget they're doing a Last of Us series,
I know, yeah.
which I don't know if that spans
Nikolai
Last of Us Part 1 and 2
Coster-Waldau for Joel.
for Joel.
Oh yeah,
Um,
it's my pick.
but you know, this is really exciting news. I imagine it'll probably be like 8 episodes. I feel like that's usually what their limited series are. Like
If
8
even
episodes.
that, I think this is gonna be like I think this is gonna be closer to that Mark Ruffalo series they just did where he was his own twin.
Yeah.
But that was like 4 episodes. Like
I mean,
I
they've
think
done a
it's-
lot of those. Like they did The Outsider, I think it was, with Jason Bateman and oh my god, what's his name?
yeah, I know what you're
Krennic.
talking about. Ben Mendelsohn.
Oh my god,
Yeah, Ben Mendelsohn.
Mendelsohn.
Yeah.
They did that.
Talos himself.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm excited for it. I you know, based on the not, once I'm done with Dune, I might just look
Wow.
and see if I can listen to this book, because you know, anything that he adapts, I feel like I want to listen to.
Mhm.
You know,
Also,
just to kind
I
of get
w-
that background.
I do
knowledge.
just want to say too, adding in, I did not read this part. The writer Lenore Zion has been the head writer for all seasons of Showtime's show Billions, the one with Paul Giamatti. That is
Yeah.
very, very good. So that also excites me on the writing level of it too. So all in all, this just sounds like this is going to be one of those can't miss projects. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
One of the ones that's like it's kind of like, you know, in a way I kind of akin it to like Euphoria, like that, you know what I mean, where it's just like all
I gotta
these
watch
like
that.
yeah, all these great producers and writers and actors and directors all coming together to just make this like amazing kind of tiny show. I mean, Euphoria is a bigger show than this because it's going to have multiple seasons, but either way, I'm very, very excited to finally dive into this show whenever it does come about.
Yeah.
All right. And now our next piece of news here, which is a little big news, but it's also some small news.
Now,
Here,
real quick, this I'm going to have to defer to you because I've never seen this.
I will have to defer to no one because I have also never seen this.
Wow. Okay. I actually
yeah.
just assumed you've seen it.
Yeah, no, I mean, I should have because it's like a movie that's right up my alley and it's on Disney
Yeah.
Plus.
Okay.
But speaking of Disney Plus and this movie being on it, it is going to be getting a sequel series, which is none other than Willow. So this is going to be a sequel series to the film Willow. Obviously, this is going to be helmed by, lead acted by Warwick Davis, obviously reprising his role as Willow from the original film, from the 1988 film. And this is going to have the director of the original film, Ron Howard, serve as a executive producer. And it's going to have actually Crazy Rich Asians director John M. Chu serve as showrunner and director of the series. So even though we might not have some info on the original series, are you excited to see this? Does this make you want to go back and watch the original movie in preparation for this series?
Yes, I will go back and watch the movie before the series. If I decide to watch the series. The thing with Disney Plus is like, I feel like since Mandalorian, they really haven't had anything, you know, to like they had like Artemis Fowl and, you know, movies that really weren't received that well. There was another one. What was that movie? They did a movie with like Bryan Cranston. Oh my god. It was like with like there was like this really friendly creature.
The one and only Ivan?
Yes, that one.
Yeah.
I don't know
Also,
how well that was received.
Real quick, shout out to Wade. I am so sorry for not seeing Willow. Shout out to Wade. I am so sorry.
Um, but I think this is good. This is a good sign that everybody seems to be coming back. Ron Howard, Warwick Davis.
Hmm.
What can you what is it about exactly? Do you know off the top of your head? Can you
It's
explain it to
it's
me at
it's
all?
one of those like labyrinth, Dark Crystal esque like never
Okay,
ending story. It's really
gotcha.
it's just tied
Very
into that.
fantasy.
Very fantasy. Yeah.
Okay.
And it's about obviously. I mean, this is just very easy to surmise. It is
Hmm.
obviously about Warwick Davis as the character of Willow. Um, so
Gotcha.
I
Can
definitely
we just
you know,
change? Can we just put him in a Ewok costume instead, and just call it
and
like
just make it
Ewok?
a Wicket show instead.
Yeah.
Could you imagine if they say they like do this Willow show and they make a
Yeah.
Willow pilot, but it's a
Yeah.
secret backdoor pilot to a Wicked
Yeah.
series, and at the end he
Yeah.
puts on the hood.
Speaking of, sorry, this is completely, this is completely jumping off the deep, like,
Oh
you
yeah.
know, a diving board onto some other different topic. But
Mhm.
did you see that they're doing a Lego Star Wars Christmas special?
Yes, I did. Yeah. Yeah, I did.
How did they get
So
the
that
blessing for that one?
I don't know. Also, how did they get? Apparently, like a ton of the stars are coming back to do the voices.
Oh wow, okay,
Yeah,
I
I
didn't
don't
know
know
that.
how they got that. I
Have
do
you
not know
seen the
how they
Christmas
did that.
special yourself? Because I've actually never seen
Oh
that. I've just
yes,
heard
yes,
it's
that I
notoriously
have seen.
terrible.
I have seen that. Yeah.
And
Let me
George
just
Lucas
see.
like shuns anybody that is like, even if you watch the that the Mandalorian season 1 documentary type thing, I think
Mhm.
John Favreau at one point, it's like, do you see that thing we got it from the set of the Star Wars Christmas thing? And George
Mhm.
Lucas is like, don't talk about that.
Yeah, he said I didn't make that. That wasn't
Yeah.
me. So far, it's not a ton of the film actors, but it is some big ones and
Mhm.
some guys that we love. So far the only cast, and obviously there are only 8 people in this cast right now. There is definitely
Mhm.
going to be more than 8 people. It's just this
Yeah.
is what's announced so far. And that is Tom Kane being the voice of Qui-Gon Jinn slash Yoda. So he played both those characters in some of the animated stuff. Obviously, Liam Neeson actually played animated Qui-Gon in the Clone Wars, but it looks like Liam's not coming back for this. We have Anthony Daniels as C-3PO, James Arnold Taylor as Obi-Wan Kenobi, Billy D. Williams as Lando
Oh.
Calrissian, Mark Hamill as Luke Skywalker, D. Bradley Baker as Rex slash various clone troopers, Kelly Marie Tran as Rose Tico, and Matt Lanter as Anakin Skywalker. So it looks like it's going to be basically a mix of film
Of live
people,
action animated.
yeah, of film people, and then whoever wasn't available to do it, they're getting the animated counterparts,
Yeah.
which I'm totally fine with. I mean,
Yeah.
if anything, I think it just gives validity to James Arnold Taylor and Matt Lanter, the
Matt
fact that they
Lanter,
can stand their own with the film actors. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And also, justice for Kelly Marie Tran as well, getting some more
Yeah, I'm glad that
dialogue.
she, would decide to be like, yeah, I'll do this. I can't imagine how much hate you're gonna get from a Lego Christmas movie, but
Yeah.
you know how fans are of these.
I just
of
really hope that it's
properties.
like, I hope it's like 35 minutes and that's it. Like, do a quick out. You know what I mean? Like, do
Yeah,
not drag
yeah,
it
don't
out.
make it like an hour and a half where it's
Yes,
like the Lego
please.
movie, but like Star Wars.
Please do not.
Yeah.
Okay, so the next two stories, which are our last two stories, are pretty local to us, which we've talked about before. We are up in the Western New York area near Buffalo, New York. So this first one is actually just a really cool news story. That is a local news story, kind of, but like around where we live. But it also is, a national, international story, which is that a giant film studio development has been planned and approved by
Mhm.
the city of Toronto. So for the past couple years, both Toronto and Buffalo have really been stepping up their game as places to shoot films. Toronto, especially, you have shows like Schitt's Creek filming exclusively in Toronto, The Boys filming
Mhm.
exclusively in Toronto. As well as a ton of others. It used to just be, a lot of Canadian shows, but now it's really creeping into just show business in general.
Yeah.
So it makes total sense that they're going to be building this, which I am super, super excited for. And I genuinely think, just a little, Bills Mafia, Buffalo Pride, I genuinely think 5-10 years from now, we're going to be seeing this exact same thing in Buffalo, where they're going to be building some sort of a movie studio in Buffalo, because you have so many films now filming here. You have Nightmare Alley,
Yeah.
which is Guillermo del Toro's new big film with Bradley Cooper. Obviously, A
Hmm.
Quiet Place 2, which has already filmed here, and many, many more. Just a ton of things coming up and that have already filmed here.
Yeah.
I think it's just this area is just really picking up to be one of the next, big
Hmm.
kind of secondary or tertiary places. Kind of like you look at about 10 or 15 years ago with Atlanta. Like
Hmm.
in the year 2000, nobody was filming anything in Atlanta. You know what I mean? Other than maybe like some TV here or there. But now, I mean, that's for almost 10 years. That's where
Yeah.
most of the MCU films have exclusively filmed. I mean, it's a huge lucrative part of its economy now. And I genuinely think that in 10 years time, that's going to be the exact same story both here and in Toronto. And this is definitely just the first sign of that.
I
So
don't know
what are
if you
your
got the
thoughts on that?
notification real quick. Sorry, that it said Craig left the server. I'm going to attempt to get him to join again. We'll see if that works. If it doesn't, then
Oh
we'll
God,
just
did
be
he leave by
releasing the.
himself?
Yes, he did. He said he failed to join. If I
Oh my
personally,
lord.
he said it may be an issue with the voice server, so I'm going to send it a little uh, action, hopefully, to help him get in again. And if he doesn't, then we're going to be releasing this YouTube audio file as the podcast file.
Perfect. Yeah, so just a couple of the audio issues have also been we're trying to up the quality of the audio versions of the show, because normally we just rip the audio that you hear on this video and then we post that. Donald said bye, Craig. Did Donald remove Craig?
I don't know, but I just tried to do a thing and it didn't work. So
Oh,
I
okay,
don't know if
well,
you want to try to do the action real quick.
I don't
If
know.
not,
I don't
it's
know if we can
whatever.
do Craig, because the audience is saying they're saying Craig sucks. You got R.I.P. Craig, bye Craig, Craig sucks. Jesus. Oh, and Shannon also, yes, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles was also like 40% of that movie was shot in Buffalo. So
Mhm.
that's another big production, one of the earlier ones, and then of course Marshall, and a bunch of other stuff as well. So yeah, I'm sorry. Before we move on, what are your thoughts on that? What are your thoughts
Um,
on Buffalo and Toronto, that whole kind of strip around Lake Erie, because
yeah,
that's really what it is. That's why I'm including Buffalo and Toronto in the same thing, because it's that little divot around Lake Erie where
yeah.
tons of things are filmed. Because Schitt's Creek films outside of Toronto, near
Hmm.
Mississauga, which is basically right in between Buffalo and Toronto. So yeah, that's why I'm
Yeah.
just
I mean,
including
like you
those.
said though, like they did Quiet Place 2 here, they did Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, they did Nightmare Alley, which isn't out yet, Guillermo del Toro's new film. But this also is, I feel like, a play in where uh they're going to shoot more, especially now during these COVID times. You also don't know when this is gonna end. So it's
Hmm.
almost like better, if you have an established place in Toronto or in Canada in general that, productions can move to if,
Hmm.
it gets too bad. Because again, we don't know when this whole thing is gonna end.
Yeah.
It could be, next month, it could be 10 months. As much as I hate to say there would be like something that far away.
Hmm.
It's just good to have like some sort of like backup plan.
Hmm. Absolutely, yeah. Um, yeah. So with that, I just think it's exactly right. With the backup plan thing, I mean, you see shows
Hmm.
like The Boys, which we'll talk about. They're ready to start rocking. In just
Yeah.
a couple of months on season 3, because Toronto is just ready to go. They are ready to
Hmm.
go. Yeah, we have Rachel here in the chat saying Rochester was big for a hot second. Yeah, Amazing Spider-Man 2, I forgot, also filmed in Rochester. I remember seeing that. It was, oh my God, I'm trying to remember Amazing Spider-Man 2. The scene with Peter and Harry where they're like walking by the water and they're like leaning up against
Hmm.
like a banister or something. Yeah, exactly. Uh, and I just remember that was cool that it was Rochester. But yeah, I just think that this area is definitely picking up in terms of film production and all that
Hmm.
stuff. We also have a lot of great film programs at a lot of the schools here, so it's easy to get assistants and production people from the local area that they can just locally source. Shout out to one of our friends, Alex, who went to school for that and has done that, um, which is very, very cool. So yeah, it's just a cool kind of story. Very excited for Toronto. I'm very excited for this whole area in the future, and what could happen with it. And speaking of New York State, we will go ahead and move on to our final topic, which is very um, is very much affecting our lives, which is that. Let me pull it up. Governor Cuomo says that movie theaters outside New York City to reopen at limited capacity. So we have this news, which, as you will know from the many times that we have talked about it, yes, I'm seeing here theaters shouldn't be open. That's a very wise comment from a person I will not disclose the name of. I am not going to say if I agree or not because I put my name on this. All right. Well, so that is what I was talking about when I said that I am returning to work, which is I officially returned to work today at the theater that I work at for the foreseeable future until we go into another lockdown or we get closed down by the state or whatever seems to happen.
How can we? Sorry, can we take a quick estimate? How long do you think that'll be? Because it's supposed to say your county has to be under 2%. I believe it is the average.
I was talking with some of my lovely coworkers today. I'm giving it weeks, if that.
Weeks, days, yeah, I would agree.
Days, possibly Friday. Possibly we're not gonna open. I don't even know. Yeah, Michelle says she gives it 3 weeks. We're getting motions being seconded. Man, we're popping off today in the live chat, guys. Invite your friends, man. Tell them. We got Dylan in here, Michelle, Danielle, Rachel, Marin, Shannon. We got a ton of people in here. All right. Send it to your friends. Welcome, Dylan. Hey, I hope you enjoyed the rest of the show. We got a cool review coming up here and a cool topic at the end as well. So stick around, definitely. But yeah, so just to break down, we also posted this on our Instagram and our Twitter when Cuomo made the official announcement. But just gonna break it down, what the actual parameters are of it. Just some of them is that the theaters have to be at a capacity of 25% of each screen. So that's not the theater as the entire building. That's each screen. So when you go, like you're in theater 1, theater 2, theater 3, has to be at 25% capacity with a max of 50 seats. Now, the theater that I work at, none of the theaters there have 200 seats in them. So we're going to be less than that. But nevertheless, for the bigger theaters, for, AMCs with 32 and, 24, whatever it might be, and if they were open, some of the Regals in New York State, they would definitely be in that predicament. I know, specifically the Regal I used to live by would definitely be because they have a big theater there. But with that, I mean, what are your thoughts? I mean, you could go back and listen to all of our shows and know exactly what my thoughts are on this, but what are your thoughts on the theaters reopening? And to everybody, I'm just going to throw it, we're going to throw this up on our Instagram and our Twitter after the show, but because we have so many people popping off in the chat right now, let me ask you guys, and while TJ's talking, I'll gather up the results. Will you guys be going back to the movies? I think I know a couple of your answers, but I'd like to hear from the people that I don't know. So will you guys be going back to the theaters to watch anything while TJ goes on and gives us his reaction to this?
My reaction is, I feel like it was bound.
Try to do it without saying the word Tenet.
I feel like it was going to happen. I will do that. I feel like it was bound to happen. Like I said, I think 2 weeks ago, I was feeling more for like the more art, not even art house, just like smaller theaters that we have around Buffalo. Just like the Dipsons, I guess, like the Amherst, Maine, and then the one by the mall. Then again, like when these companies said, we need these 2 big markets open, this isn't the market they were talking about.
Yeah.
They were talking about New York City. This
New
doesn't
York
really
City,
like,
yeah.
Granted, it helps. Like, don't get me wrong. It helps probably to have your other theaters open. Granted, that kind of adds on to the expenses by opening
Extremely.
these, because
Yeah.
again, it's very expensive to reopen.
Mm-hmm.
But like you said, I don't think it's gonna last. Like I
Mm-hmm.
can't see this lasting more than a month,
Mm-hmm.
just because I think even the county we're living in is teetering on that
Yeah, we're at,
percentage.
as of today, I saw that we are at 1.6%. And as
Oof.
soon as we hit 2, it's not a thing
Two.
of if you're under 2%, you can open and then you're good. If you ever dip at 2% or above, you're closed. So it's
Yeah.
not like a thing of like, all right, we got it when we were opening, so we're good. We're in the clear. No. It's if it dips over 2%, you're done.
I'm interested to see
Mhm.
I'm interested to see, and I don't know if you'll be able to tell me this when it happens, the senior citizen percentage of who is going to be there. I'm interested
I
to
don't
see
know,
the
man.
demographic.
I'm interested to see what happens with $5 Tuesdays.
$5 Tuesdays. I mean, you
Mhm.
can't get rid of those. I mean,
You can't get rid of them, but as we have somebody saying here, they're going to be extremely, extremely limited showtimes and
Oh, yeah.
limited seating. So it's going to be
Yeah.
both. It's going to be decreased showtimes
and
decreased rounds even, so you can only go. We have no shows before 6 p.m. So you tell me. But also real quick, I just want to say before it goes away in the chat, because the chat is popping off right now. I will say, which I am
can I
very
just say,
excited
sorry,
about.
real quick?
Yeah.
I did see a story today, not to bring the mood down any more, but a very, very, very large theater chain did say today bankruptcy is on the table. So not to,
Would they have a 3-letter name?
they do actually, yes.
It's not ABC Cinemas, right?
That chain with the 3 letters in their name did say something about
You're
bankruptcy.
talking about ABC Cinemas, right?
Exactly.
That's the
yes,
only
yes,
one you could be
yes.
talking
No,
about. Okay.
no, only that one.
Okay, yeah, nothing else.
But
Well,
I'm
that's
just interested to see what happens.
Yeah, I will ask before it scrolls down, because the chat is very much popping off. There's a lot of discussion right now, which is great. Boost us in that YouTube algorithm. Get us up. Everybody that's watching right
That
now.
broken algorithm.
Every single person that is watching. Yeah, okay, Don Jr. I don't know if my algorithm's broken or what. Every single person that's watching right now, I am challenging you, like this video and share it to your social media of choice. Every single person that's watching right now.
Big challenge.
If you're going in the comments and you're talking, you're having a discussion and you're enjoying yourselves, like the video and go ahead and share it on your social media
And
of choice.
subscribe. Don't
and
forget to
subscribe. Everyone that's watching right now that's not subscribed. But let me read this before I forget it, because I've been meaning to. And that is coming to us from classy_live. Which is, he said that he will be going back to the theaters, but he just wants to know, in general, let's just answer this with a yes or no.
Okay.
You can think about it however you want. In general, do you think the theater industry will bounce back to where it was before? So think about that question. Do you think eventually, ever, it's gonna get to the height that it was previously?
Wait, real quick. The theater industry or the movie industry in general?
I would say the theater industry.
Okay.
Because he said, do you think they'll ever bounce back?
I'm going to say no. Because, well, can I explain real quick?
Mm-hmm.
Bounce back.
Oh, hang on. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Restream has joined the chat. We have, for the first time ever, congratulations. You have received 100 messages in one day.
Wow, look at
AKA
that.
100 messages in one stream. So boom, we hit a pretty cool milestone. I'm sorry, continue.
Bounce back would be to bounce back. They weren't even in a good place when this whole thing started. So, to bounce back, you'd have to be like, they'd have to be, past where they were, in my opinion. Granted, if the government's like, here's, a gazillion dollars, then, it's like, okay. They can last.
If there's a huge bailout, of course, I think you're gonna get a huge boost.
But we have not seen that. I feel like, other than like those, like and
I don't think it's
PPP
coming.
loans. You have paycheck protection loans, and small business loans, which apparently were eaten up by people that probably didn't need them.
Yeah.
Harvard. Unless there's a big announcement where it's like, oh, these theater chains are getting millions of dollars in funding or in a
Mm-hmm.
bailout. I don't see anything,
Mm-hmm.
quite like that.
Yeah, let me go through it because we have again, guys, keep it up. Let's try to get to 150 messages right now. So we still got the review left. So here we had a conversation. Yes, the theater in downtown Buffalo, it can't open with the alcohol, just because of the way that the state's mandates are right now. Because it can't provide the proper food.
Not even if they serve Cuomo. What are they? Cuomo chips.
Cuomo
Remember that
chips.
story? Yeah.
yeah, I remember. But yeah, I mean that's interesting. I mean that's tricky for a couple of reasons, and that's not. I'm not dishing out any company secrets. That's just the way that it works. With the way that all the new alcohol rules in New York, you have to be sitting down, you have to eat something. At a movie theater, just the way that the AMC bars are designed, unless it's a dine-in theater with a MacGuffins, which is the name of the restaurants for AMC's, you can't really do that. Like it's just tricky. Like it's gonna be a while before they get that going. But let me get to the question that I posed to you with, do you think they'll ever recover? I'll give my question. I don't think that. All right, I'll give my answer. I don't think they will. But I'm hopeful that they could surprise us all and pull it off. But here we have no, yes, movies, yes, theaters, unfortunately not. Yes, but it will take a very long time. It's been on a downward slope for years.
Do you know how much debt they were in before this happened?
Mm-hmm. Oh, and then also drive-ins are making a killing. Somebody said drive-ins are making a killing right now.
I also like to announce, as of 2 nights ago, I sold my AMC stock.
Oh, finally!
Had to get out.
Let's give a round of applause for TJ.
I was waiting for the climb. It never happened.
It never happened. It never happened. Oh, here we go. Okay, so this is I prefer the feeling of watching a movie for the first. Where are we? For the first time in a theater. Nothing can beat it. However, I do not believe that movie theaters will bounce back fully to how they once were.
I would agree.
It's very true. It's very true. Somebody said, let's hope, Sean, since it's your career choice. Well, we'll see. We'll see about that. I don't know. Maybe there's a promotion in my future.
Oh my God.
Only one man decides that fate.
He was just...
Well, God.
You just read like your obit like on live YouTube.
This man.
Oh my God.
There has been a murder, and you are a suspect. Oh my gosh. All right.
Oh
yeah.
My God.
Well, somebody called him out by name. Somebody got it, and it wasn't who you think. It was Michelle that's watching. All right. So with that, I think we are good on the movie topics. Now, please. What am I trying to say? Please keep sending in. No, I was laughing too hard. Please keep sending in your messages. Let us know if you guys have any important questions like the one that Classy Live sent. We will go ahead and say it on the air. But with that, we're going to go ahead and... I don't know. Do you think we should take a break? Just a quick break?
No, I think we could just jump into it.
All right. I think we could just jump right into it.
I think we're good.
All right. So, just 1 second. Having a quick moment of silence for the editing purpose.
Okay.
All right. So let's go ahead and just jump right into it. Let's go ahead and, here we go. Somebody said Craig will be laid to rest in a drive-through pandemic-safe funeral. Wow. All right. R.I.P. to Craig. All right. So now we are going to go ahead and roll right into our review for season 2 of The Boys. So I know that there are definitely some people here watching that are big fans of The Boys. So let us know. Definitely keep the conversation going here. I see some people that say no interest in The Boys. Definitely stick around for at least the non-spoiler review, because we always in the non-spoiler we try to determine whether we think it's worth you guys watching. So let's go ahead and jump right in. TJ, I'm going to go ahead and throw it to you first. Now, I didn't pull it up, but do you want, even though it's not a movie, do you want to read off the IMDb for it?
Yeah, I'll read it off really quick.
Okay. Because as you guys
Um,
know, every week TJ reads the IMDb and I read the box office. Obviously, because it's a TV show, there is no box office. But he could definitely go ahead and read it off to you guys.
Okay, real quick, we're going to talk about season 2 of The Boys. Yeah, so quick description on IMDb. A group of vigilantes sets out to take down corrupt superheroes who abuse their superpowers. Creator Eric Kripke, who actually recently had some comments that people found kind of off base, I think, about the MCU, where he said something about the MCU being dangerous. Which yeah, I don't know about that. Well, we might get into that. So this show stars Carl Urban, Jack Quaid, Anthony Starr, Aaron Moriarty, Chance Crawford, Elizabeth Shue, who's in the first season. She's not really in the second season that much. But those are kind of like the big and heavy hitters, I feel like, in the show. Sean, did you leave? Okay, I guess I'm going to give my thoughts on the show for season 2. So non-spoiler review of the show. Overall, season 2, I think I might have liked it more than season 1. Just in general with the acting, the characters they brought in. I forget if the character of Stormfront was brought in at the end of season 1, but the way her character kind of develops throughout season 2, I feel like just kind of brings the show to a whole new level. And of course, like the ending, like of the show of the season of season 2, like you just don't know where it's headed. Because I think when we talked about it off, like not recording or anything, when I Snapchatted you, or no, we were watching it together, duh. And you were like,
Yeah.
we both looked at the screen after that, you know, the one really big scene towards the end, and we're like, oh, so this person's going to be the villain. And then we're like, oh no, that is not the villain.
Yeah.
And the show is very, I don't even know if I want to say, like, it's very woke, where it's like it kind of beats you over the head with like the political climate and everything going on now, where, you know, you have, you know, white supremacy, you know, racism. I don't even like everything, just everything.
Yeah.
Where I feel like that's kind of like, while it wants to say something, it's like not afraid of like telling you like what they're saying. Like even like for example, just quick scene when, you know, quick spoiler, Stormfront is a Nazi.
Not much of a spoiler. Not a real big.
Yeah.
It's more of like a character.
Yeah.
Reveal very early
when,
on.
Like when Stormfront's like, well, they want to kill it. Like she's talking to this one character. She's like, they want to kill us all. They want to commit genocide. And
white genocide.
And Homelander's like,
she said white genocide.
White genocide. Sorry.
Yeah.
And Homelander goes, ooh, like,
yeah,
I don't know about that.
He literally
so like, well, Homelander is like clearly a terrible character throughout the show. Like he shows like a sliver of humility in that one moment where he's like, "Oh, I don't know about that. Like, I can't get behind that. Like, I love you, but like, I don't know."
Yeah.
And I'm interested to see like if this next villain, like, how can they make her worse? You know, like, are you gonna like? Is she gonna be like a Thanos type where it's like, okay, I get where she's coming from because you've seen her in the show before, so it's kind of like I know what she stands for, and she's modeled after this person in our reality, which is like, oh, that's clearly who this character is based off of.
Yeah, which and we will talk more definitely about that in the spoiler section. And yes, I see some people asking if there is a spoiler section. Yes, there will be. We talk a majority about it in non-spoiler. The spoiler discussion is more just really to dive into the things that we cannot talk around or about in the non-spoiler. So if you don't want any spoilers, you know, I would hop out right after we do the non-spoiler review. And then, you know, you can pop back in a little bit later because that's probably only going to be about 10 minutes. But yes, thank you everybody who was worried about me. I did leave for a second, only to, I ran very, very fast downstairs to my kitchen to retrieve this little gem right here, which is...
Is he... That shirt, I was like, oh, he might as well just wear it in the show. That's like the type of shirt he wears.
I think he literally wandered off of set and came.
Yeah,
well,
exactly.
Do you remember the night we went? Sorry, just real quick. Do you remember the night in Toronto that night when we went to the restaurant for dinner and drinks that night? the whole Boys cast was there like an hour before we got there.
No, I didn't. I didn't know that. No.
Yeah, remember we looked at Carl Urban's Instagram, and they were all there in that restaurant like an hour before.
I must have missed that.
Yeah, it was terrible.
Remember.
Well, we did miss it. Apparently, they weren't there.
Yeah, and real quick, sorry. The other thing this show does, where I feel like it just like, and the season in general just surprises you.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's all set. Well, what did you think of the season? I think we have similar thoughts, but I don't know if you liked it more or less than I did.
Yeah, so I think we probably liked it about the same. I definitely think there are parts of it that are better than, or I should say, there's parts of it that I think that are worse than what we got in season 1. I think overall, season 2, I enjoyed the story more. I think it dragged a few times where maybe I feel like the first season didn't, but then again, I have not rewatched the first season in a long time. So that could have it too. And also I think a big deal too is that this season of The Boys, last season of The Boys was a binge show. They released all of them on the exact same minute. This one came out week to week. I think that also made a big difference in how the pacing of the show felt. And that's where basically most everyone's complaints were, is the pacing of the show. Which I think probably more than not is just a result of the week-to-week format.
I just don't. I like the week-to-week more. I feel like because
me too, absolutely.
Like I've gone to work and I've talked about it with my coworkers. Like the episode, it's like it's Game of Thrones in that way where it's it's such a big show. Where I would say The Boys isn't as big as Game of Thrones was, but it has that I hate to say it, like gravitas, where it's like this thing that you have to talk about, where it's like a water cooler show.
Oh yeah, it's like The Office, or like you said, Game of Thrones, Breaking Bad. It's genuinely becoming one of those shows that's like you have to get to work and you have to talk. It's must see TV. You know what I mean? It's a must see TV streaming show, which I think is great. But what did I want to say? Yeah, so I think season 2 in general I liked better than season 1. I think I liked I think I like the characters more. The returning characters, I should say. I feel like just because by the general purpose of it, we got more time with them. Yeah, somebody said here, I won't say out loud what you said because it's a spoiler for like the first 5 minutes of the show. TJ, you know what this is, the first 5 minutes of the very first episode. But she said when that thing happens with A-Train, she said that's what she got hooked at. It says the collateral damage never gets enough attention in superhero movies. I think that is absolutely true. You saw a little bit in like the Man of Steel universe, like the Snyderverse and all that stuff. But really, it's really handled very well in The Boys. That's a big part of it, is the collateral damage. That's basically the entire part, is that they get away with so much collateral damage. It's crazy. But yeah, I mean, do you have anything else that you want to talk about in the non-spoiler review section before we give our rating and go into the spoilers?
No, I'm ready to get into spoilers.
All right, so for those who are just watching for the first time or are watching on the replay, make sure you go ahead and smash the like button and subscribe so that you never miss an upload to the Planet Film Network. With that, what we do for these reviews, whether it's a movie review or a TV review, we do our non-spoiler. Then we give our star rating so that you know our recommendation and you can bow out before the spoilers, so that you don't have to get spoiled on it. So I'll go ahead and I'll start with my star rating for this. I would say for The Boys season 2, I would go 4.5 out of 5.
That's what I was gonna do.
That's what you would give it as well.
Yeah. Would you say it's better than the first or not as good? I think I personally thought it was better, but
I would say enjoyment wise, I think I enjoyed the second season more, but I think I would still rate the first season 4.5 out of 5.
So the same.
Yeah, but I think I enjoyed season 2 more, but just for the punch in the mouth that season 1 was, like the breath of fresh air, if you want to call it that. But I think this show is more apt to call it the punch in the mouth. That season 1 was just so like just coming out of the gate swinging, really, really great. So yeah, I would give that, and of course, I guess you don't really have to, but I would definitely say I recommend watching this series. What about you?
Yes, I would definitely recommend it. I feel like you're missing out if you're not
Hmm.
watching the show.
All right, so now is the time to go ahead and we will enter spoilers. I'm waving my hands right now, but in a minute, I will put a spoiler warning on the screen. So for those that are watching that don't want to be spoiled about the boys, but still want to stick around for the ending of the show, you can just go ahead and mute the TV, mute your phone, whatever you're watching on, just keep it over there. And I will wave my hands again to get your attention, and I will remove the spoiler tag from the screen. So with that, we are now in the spoiler section. So you have been warned thoroughly and extensively. So TJ, why don't you go ahead and kick it off while I get the spoiler graphic up?
Okay.
What are some of your spoiler thoughts on season 2 of The Boys?
Okay, well, spoiler, as we know in season 2, Homelander has a son with Butcher's wife.
Mm-hmm.
Not consensually, by the way. Homelander definitely, and it doesn't show it, but it shows Homelander leaving her office because she used to work at Vought in marketing and marketed Homelander. He did rape her, and so she had Homelander's kid. And I will honestly say, I think the funniest scene in the show, I found it so hilarious, is when he's trying to teach his kid how to fly, and his son is like, "Dad, I can't fly. Like, I can't do it." He's like, "Of course you can," and he literally pushes him off the roof. I found that hilarious. I don't know why. It was just so funny to me when he's like, "I can't fly," and he goes, "Sure you can," and just like shoves him. And he's
You know
like,
what? You know what
he's
to
like,
me
"Oh."
was I mean that moment was hilarious, but what to me
Yeah.
what I found even funnier was the moment that him and Ryan is his son's name. The moment that him and
Yeah.
Ryan see
Oh,
each other again, and he just says like Homelander just says to Ryan like really offhandedly and like kind of like a fun-loving way. He just
mhm.
goes, "And buddy, I won't push you as hard this time." Like but it's also like a double meaning because
Yeah.
he literally pushed him
Yeah.
off the roof, and I was like, that
Yeah.
just made me burst out loud laughing.
Um, Two of like the biggest surprises I thought in the show this season were is and maybe the one's not a surprise. Well, obviously the first surprise is Lamplighter, who you honestly probably don't think you'll ever see, I feel like, but then he, is in the mental institution, kind of like,
Hmm.
they're trying to train these I what do you want to call them? Mutants? I guess like
I guess, yeah, they're
and
trying to
basically
basically like the what the show is about is for those who haven't watched but are listening to the spoiler, don't do that, or do it if you don't care about the world. But basically the show is the superheroes, the biggest spoiler about the entire show that the show wants you to believe is that superheroes are naturally born. The big spoiler and the big reveal of season 1 is that superheroes are not born, they are made with this drug called Compound V. Um, so basically what TJ's talking about is there's this whole basically this Sage Grove Institute where they are testing already, and they're injected as babies. They take the Compound V as babies to get their superpowers. This site, they're trying to give it to fully grown adults to try and give adults full superhero powers
mhm.
later in life, basically, so that anybody can take Compound V and get powers.
um where he's like burning the victim, burning the prisoners, basically that's what they
Yeah, who
are.
don't comply.
Um and just like the like where I feel like the show was like, "Oh, we're not like afraid to, do this," is when they're it's Butcher and Starlight and Huey are standing outside the compound, and and Frenchie are in there. What's his love interest? I always forget her name. Huey's, or not Huey's. Frenchie's love interest name.
Hmm.
What's her name? I always forget. Do you know off the top of your head?
Kamiko.
Kamiko. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
When
played
they're
by
in
the
the
incredible Karen Fukuhara.
yeah, and they're in the compound, and the one girl comes, or the one, sorry, it's a boy. I forget what his power is. He like repulses stuff, I guess. And Butcher's like trying to talk him down because I think they convinced Butcher not to shoot him, but the kid is like, he like explodes and he pushes this big van that Huey's in, and Huey comes out, and you're like, "Oh, he's fine," and then he's just like severed. and I'm like, and I was like, oh shit, like I thought he might die for a second. Where I thought the show like just wasn't afraid to, where it's kind of showing you it's like we're not gonna, it's not gonna be easy for these characters. Like none of these characters are bulletproof. You know what I mean? Where it's like they could die, next episode. And obviously they do that with Butcher's wife at the end, where she, and of course it's Ryan that kills her.
The big spoiler for this season, is that Becca gets killed by her own son Ryan accidentally, trying to save her.
Yeah, but
still, and that's the big big reveal.
And then obviously, I don't know what they're gonna do with Stormfront in the next season. Or the next two, I don't know, whatever, because as they seem to point out that she's not dead. She's in a facility, even though she has no limbs, I believe. And she's burned kind of like Anakin at the end of Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah.
She's still alive Walker. Somewhere.
Full Paul Walker.
Yeah. What?
Like Paul Walker in real life.
Oh, okay.
Don't look it up, folks.
But and then obviously, again, the other big reveal in the last episode is you think that the villain is going to be the cult leader. I don't have his name off the top of my head.
I don't have his name, but the leader of the Church of the Collective.
The Church of the Collective. But it is actually the Congress. Is she Congress?
Yeah, the Congresswoman, yeah.
Congresswoman, who is directly resembled of AOC. I feel like it's almost a carbon copy, except she's not evil. AOC's not evil.
Yeah.
But
it's just they modeled her off of her outward appearance on the show is this like up and coming plucky young congresswoman from New York who's like, you know what I mean? Like it's basically the exact same thing.
Because basically how she's introduced is she's against the Supes, and she's fighting against Vought about Compound V. And then you see at the end of the episode that she's the head exploder. She's popping people's heads like they're grapes. She pops the Church of the Collective's got heads. She pops the head scientist at Vought when he's trying to testify in Congress.
And Shockwave. Don't forget she killed Shockwave.
Shockwave and the one CIA woman. I think she dies like the first two or third episode. I think.
Yeah. She was big in season 1. Forget her name though.
But yeah, those are my parts. I feel like this show is just consistently kind of building to something, and even you get backstory, like you got Frenchie's backstory and why he's so against Lamplighter, and what Lamplighter did to be this terrible human being that everybody seems to hate. But like I said, I think the biggest part about the show I feel like they aren't afraid to say that these one, they're not afraid to say what they're saying, which is, obviously racism is a terrible, terrible thing. And kind of beat you over the head with that idea, stuff like that. And that none of these characters are, like I said, bulletproof. Like they can be injured, maimed, and die, just like that. Like that you could see Huey one episode, the next episode he's just gone. I don't think he do that because he's literally the main character. But
yeah, I thought he was a goner this season. I was like, oh my god.
No, I thought he was gonna die too. I thought when he was severed in that truck, I was like, oh, he's dead.
Yeah, because I mean, this man was cut in half. Like he was going to be in half if Starlight hadn't acted quickly. But
one other thing. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah.
One other thing. The other thing about the season I did like is I felt like even though Homelander is a terrible, 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 terrible person, he has a bit of tiny sliver of humility, which I said when Stormfront's like, oh, they're committing white genocide, and Homefront, it pans up to Homefront, and he's like, oh, he's like, I don't know about that one, like. It was like I was on the train with you until you just said that. And now I'm like, I'm not sure. And then where he's trying to be a dad. Like when they take him to like the big party, and obviously his son has not he's been in isolation since he was
He's
a
not
baby.
had a normal life.
He's not had a normal life. So when he is in front of all these people talking, like he's like getting overwhelmed, and Homelander's like, "Here, let me take you home," and he, they fly away. So it's kind of showing that he
And
has
that, yeah,
a side to him.
that
that's not
is
terrible,
definitely
but-
a genuine moment where you can tell that there is a large part of, and everything that TJ has said, I completely agree with. So I'm not going to retouch on that stuff. But just speaking of the Homelander Ryan relationship in this whole season, there is a huge part of Homelander who even in the beginning of this season, you think he might have a chance to not be redeemed, of course, not be redeemed, but to turn a new leaf and really try with Ryan. And I think he genuinely does. I think the entire time he genuinely tries with Ryan. He tries to work on it with him, and it's not until Stormfront kind of intervenes that kind of starts going sideways. Because even in that scene where he takes him to the restaurant and Ryan gets overwhelmed, you think maybe it's going to be like, oh, Homelander's not paying attention to his kid. But no, he sees that Ryan's in distress, and he immediately grabs him and is like, everybody, please stand back, get away, like, and flies him home. Like, immediately. You know what I mean? Like, and that's, and leaves Stormfront there, which of course pisses her off. But there are those moments of genuine care that you can tell that he's trying to be a good dad, because at his core, the main problem with Homelander is that he was kept in he's like 11 from Stranger Things. You know what I mean? He was kept in a
lab.
Lab, basically. Yeah, lab. And the only father figure he had was the head scientist, who's now dead. And who wasn't much of a father and never had a mother figure. That's the whole reason that they're keeping Ryan in isolation. But
and obviously we're not really touching on like Maeve's story or A-Train or Deep, but like we're kind of more touching on like the bigger points. I feel like
the A plots, but I will say, if we touch on the side plots real quick, like I think that the Kimiko and Frenchie side plot with the two of them finally
I'm glad
getting
finally,
together.
That was kind of getting drawn out, I feel like, where it was like, okay, let's come on. Like
that was a pacing issue for sure, I think, was the two of them. But I'm glad that was finally settled. I love the whole Maeve storyline with Elena, and then of course what Maeve does in the finale. Maeve is maybe the complete MVP of the finale. She's so good in that episode.
Oh, and that that scene where Starlight, Maeve, and Kimiko are kicking the shit out of Starlight, or not Starlight,
out of Stormfront.
Stormfront. Oh my god, it's amazing.
Yeah, and there's Frenchie. Oh, I guess girls do get it done. It's like so funny. But
I would say it's like the equivalent of the almost kind of like with the end game thing where it seemed forced, where it was all the women like.
Well, that's the big topic on Twitter this week, is that the showrunner Eric Kripke said that scene was a direct response to the end game scene. Because he thought that it was, he got himself in hot water this week because he came out and said, I hate that scene. He said, I think it's so forced. I think it's so dumb. And that's why he was making fun of it. He said openly, I was making fun of that scene. We can touch on that another day, I guess, but that's a whole other story. But in terms of the side plots, I would say I loved the Maeve side plot this season, and I loved the Frenchie and Kimiko one. Really just the Frenchie side plot in general was really good. And then the one with the Deep and A-Train and the Collective and stuff, I get that they're laying the groundwork for the Collective to be bigger in the future. But it just, for a while, that was another one to me that just kind of dragged on.
I didn't really care.
Yeah, I wanted to see, it was fun. It was like all the scenes were fun and they were funny to watch.
It was basically like, this is this world's Scientology. Basically.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It's basically what it is. I didn't really understand why Frenchie beat him. I get why he beat himself up over that. I don't even know the CIA woman's name.
Grace.
Her kid's death. I get why he did it, but like I don't see. I get like he's trying to protect. Well, I guess never mind. Okay, I take that back. I just kind of answered my own question because he's trying to protect Kimiko. You know, he's trying to make up for what he didn't do. I guess, in a way. Yeah, okay. I just answered my own question.
Well, hey, sometimes that's what the benefit of conversation is.
Yeah.
Oh, never mind. Apparently, Disneyland and California are going to court against each other.
Court. Wow.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Somebody posted a Vito Corleone gif that said, "I'm going to make him an offer he can't refuse." They said Bob Chapek said, "We will not stop working. We will not stop fighting until Disneyland is open."
You gotta love the multi-conglomerate, multi-billion corporation going after the government. Love it.
Oh yeah, because Gavin Newsom
almost
definitely
like
doesn't have
Epic.
enough on his plate.
It's almost like Epic going after Apple using 10-year-olds.
Yeah. The war on the machine. But before we end on the boys talk, I just want to bring up somebody, Shannon in the chat said, "I'm not sure if they're supposed to have chemistry, but Huey and Starlight just don't do it for me at all."
Really?
What are your thoughts on that? How do you feel about their
I love them
storyline?
together. I love their awkwardness. I feel like they're like awkward together, and she's more of the dominant, obviously, where he's kind of like, he's like, oh, I don't know, like, you know, I did feel like in the first season, he moved on from his dead girlfriend a tad quick.
Very quickly.
I feel like in like 2 or 3 episodes, him and Starlight were like together, and I was like, I don't know about that.
Yeah.
But I like I really like the relationship. I feel like it's actually like something real, and I just feel like they are really good friends, not when they're not shooting, you know?
Yeah. Like, you mean Jack Quaid and Ari Moriarty, like the actress. Yeah. Yeah, I definitely agree. I genuinely, I get what you're saying with the chemistry, but I think TJ hit the nail on the head with that. I think it is more of an awkwardness, more of like a playful type thing. You know what I mean? I think that's what it more is.
I mean, even at the last episode, they kind of like, you kind of get, you're confused as if they're together or not, because they're like, well, I don't want to be together, but they're like, no, I do. And it's like kind of weird like that, where it's like, this is really working. But I think I'd have to go rewatch what they say, but they end up like being together again because they break up for that little stint.
Because he says, I have to learn to stop being so clingy. I think I have to learn to let go. And she's like, oh yeah, okay, yeah, that's fine.
Yeah,
and then he's like,
where it's like complete.
He's like, no, I'm still gonna cling on to you. I'm not. He's like, yeah.
What it was almost kind of showing like they were polar opposites as where they were at the beginning of the show, where she was like, you know, kind of like iffy, and he was like, you know, and then all of a sudden she's like, oh, like I thought you wanted to be together, and he's like,
yeah, exactly.
You know.
So again, Shannon says, I just love the two characters separately, which is totally fair. I mean, it's totally fair. It's just it's a story decision that they made. It's up to whatever. Whoa, okay, we got a big prediction from Michelle here that says, I think she will die at the end of the series, saving Huey.
Oof.
That's gonna be a heart wrencher, man.
You gotta work that up though. You gotta keep like pounding that relationship.
I'll say 130 million%. I mean, the comics are still running, so this show is not going to end anytime soon. But I think the comics and the show both have to end with Billy dead. I mean, he is the Tony Stark character of this universe. You know what I mean? He just is.
You think Billy's dead?
At the very end, I think so. Yeah, I mean, he's the Tony Stark. He's the ultimate redemptive arc throughout the entire thing, going from selfish to selfless. That's what I think. It's the exact same thing that like Tony did. But yeah, so I think that'll do it for me, at least for the spoiler talk. Do you have anything else that you wanted to bring up?
No, I've touched on like everything. I feel like that.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, and also, you know, we don't want to go over everything because we want to leave you guys left with some stuff to watch. And with that, I think we definitely did, but I hope you enjoyed the spoiler discussion and the rating. Again, I'll just go through. I'll just say again, my rating is 4.5 stars. Do you want to
I also go with 4.5 stars.
Yeah. Somebody, Michelle said it would be ironic if the two that are left are Starlight and Butcher, because of kind of their relationship this season as well. Maybe the show goes full dark and kills off all the good people and lets all the assholes and stuff stay alive, which I could also see happening. I could also definitely see happening.
Do you think? Sorry, real quick
Mhm.
prediction. Do you think we will get a team up of like Homelander? I mean, it'd be really hard to do, like where you get Homelander and
Mhm.
Butcher on the same side to take down the
I
AOC
think
type
I think if this
character.
show, I think temporarily, yes, I think that is absolutely possible.
Okay,
I think
I just feel like
definitely.
it'd be tough. It'd be tough to.
Well, I think
It'd
it
be
would
tough
be for
for
like
you.
one season finale, like maybe the season
Yeah,
3 finale. Maybe it's
yeah,
something where they have to. They have no choice. You know what I mean? It just might be something like that.
yeah. Because I just feel like, me personally, I would be like, I can't believe this guy would be okay with teaming up with this guy after what he did to
Hmm.
his life. Like he fucked up his life completely.
Yeah.
He's the way he is because of him.
Hmm. Yeah.
I
Absolutely.
mean, also his obviously Billy's dad too didn't. He
Yeah.
also contributed to it,
And his brother too. We learn about this
and his
season too.
brother, yeah.
But yeah, great season. There's so much more that we could talk about for literally hours and hours on end. But we want to leave it to you guys to go watch the series and let us know what you think. Tweet at us at Planet Film Pod. Use the hashtag Planet Film, the hashtag boys. And also, you can always comment on our boys post on the Instagram page. Because we only have a couple Instagram posts up right now, so you can find it pretty easily. It's just the one with the big boys poster. But yeah, I think that'll do it. Let me go ahead and I can remove the spoiler warning now. So we are just going to go on with the rest of the show, which, as longtime listeners know, we always end with shooting the shit, which is basically just a random topic that we'll talk about. And as we teased kind of in the earlier part of the episode, we are going to do a Twitter trend that has been big this week, for years, but kind of really big this week with the whole Chris's thing. But we're not going to be tackling that one. And because that is a whole snowball effect of craziness that's happening on its own. We're going to do a little bit of a lighthearted one, which is one has to go. And the 4 choices are the 4 Spider-Men. I should say more specifically the 4 Peter Parkers of the cinematic world, which is Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man from obviously the Raimi films, Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man from The Amazing Spider-Man, Tom Holland's Spider-Man from the MCU, and Jake Johnson's Spider-Man from Into the Spider-Verse. So I will go first.
Okay.
Okay, you know what? No, you can go first. you go
All
first.
right.
Because I just want to know what your answer would be. So one has to go. What are you gonna say, and what's your
Okay.
reason?
I think one has to go. Oh, I thought we were ranking. I think the one
We could do both.
I think to go, I think it'd be Andrew Garfield, unfortunately.
Really?
I mean, maybe I'm basing that off his movies too. His movies weren't the best Spider-Man movies. Tom Holland in general is just what I picture Spider-Man as like a young kid in New York City, growing up, a coming of age kid. Tobey Maguire, obviously OG Spider-Man. I'm not the biggest. I'd have to rewatch his movies. I'm not the biggest fan of his because they're goofy. Obviously Spider-Man 3. You got
Oh.
But what's his name? I said it the last week, didn't I? Bully Maguire, is that what his name was that people are calling him on his character? And then I think I like Jake. I mean, obviously Spider-Verse. Exactly. Spider-Verse, great movie. Fantastic. Possibly maybe number 1 Spider-Man movie in my opinion.
I would say after my enormous hype of Far From Home has died down, I think they're probably tied for me because I love Far From Home. I don't know what it is.
I liked Homecoming more than Far
I know
From Home.
people have problems with Far From Home. I know people like Homecoming more. I loved Far From Home. It was just for me. It was perfect Spider-Man movie, but I think it's about on level pegging with Spider-Verse. So I'll give mine, and then we can go through and rank them.
Okay.
So again, I definitely, just because of my childhood and into my not adulthood, but into my teens and stuff, which unfortunately those days are behind me, which I forget about all the time that I'm old now. Toby that's just what I grew up on, watching the VHSs until they were burned out, and then watching the DVDs until they started skipping in the machine. Just over and over and over again. Back to formula. what's it called?
Can you give me a Green Goblin monologue?
You gotta do the. You gotta say oh, what is it?
You got it.
Hang on.
1, 2, 3.
Well, just the best line is when he says when Aunt May is doing the Our Father, and she says, forgive our trespass against us.
Yeah.
Lead us not,
Lead us not in
in
temptation.
temptation. And he goes,
Yeah.
finish it. And he's on the glider, and he goes with his hands. He goes, finish it. And she says, deliver us from evil. Like she's like Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy or something. From evil.
I'm like crying. Jesus Christ, Willem Dafoe is so funny.
One of my other favorite Norman Osborn lines from that is right before spoiler alert for Spider-Man 1 with Tobey Maguire. Right before Norman Osborn's death, when the camera just sees the glider and then it pans back to him and he just goes, oh. And then he gets stabbed through. Fantastic.
Okay, so Tobey number 1.
So Tobey, no, Tobey is not number 1.
Oh, okay. I thought he was.
No, I don't know.
You're saying 1 has to go. Sorry, 1 has to go.
Yeah, so 1 has to go. Finish it. I'll just say long story short, because we're about to talk more about it in the ranking. After a long deliberation, I would have to get rid of Garfield. I like Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man. Yeah. I think he's a really, really great... I think he's just a real great Peter Parker. But I think Tobey... I think his Spider-Man was failed by the writing. But I think he was a really good Peter Parker.
Wasn't he treated not great as well?
Oh, yeah. They treated him like shit. And that's why he didn't show up to that... Because remember, there was all that news that came out about, like, he didn't show up to this one meeting, so they canceled Spider-Man 3. And it was like, he was like, I was an hour late, like, and they, like, treated me like garbage. That's why, God, I hope Spider-Man 3, I hope all those rumors are true. Which, if you notice, we did not spend time in the news talking about that because they are all such rumors right now, and there's so many Spider-Man 3 rumors out. We would be talking about it forever. When there's official concrete news, we are going to talk Spider-Man 3. Believe me. I just did not want to get into all that because I knew this was going to be our shooting the shit. So it's enough Spider-Man talk for one day. When we have concrete news, we will do probably a full deep dive, maybe with me, Donald, and TJ on Spider-Man 3. But yeah, exactly. Boom. We can spend an entire Planet Hero episode talking about it. Exactly. Probably do a full 45 minutes just on the news about Spider-Man. So I'm just going to go with my ranking just right off the bat. Oh man, it's so tough. Now you got to remember, they're like, yeah, because like, well, for me, no, the ranking is not tough. It's tough that they all, in my book, they all can't be number 1. You know what I mean? Because it's like, or 3 of them can't be number 1. Because it's like the top 3 are like, boom, boom, boom. Like 1, 2, 3, right next to each other.
Well, do you want me to get mine real quick?
Down there. Go for it. Give yours.
Okay,
see if they match.
Personally, Tom Holland's number 1 for me, just because, like I said, he embodies what I think Spider-Man is.
Yeah.
Tobey's number 2. Like you, grew up with him. And, you know, I didn't wear out those DVDs, but I definitely watched them. Even though Willem Dafoe Green Goblin scared the hell out of me. Oh my God.
Back to formula.
Yeah. Scared the fuck. When he gets done and is, you know, and he's like, sir, and he like gets out, he grabs him like that. Oh my God. Scared the hell out of me.
Norman.
Exactly. Yeah. Jake Johnson actually number 3. He is number 3 because we've only had one movie with him as Spider-Man. But obviously the whole down and out Spider-Man, I kind of love that and kind of getting his whole mojo back. Andrew Garfield's number 4 just because, one, again, not his fault. The movies just aren't that good. And when I think Spider-Man, I think of those 3 before him. Like, I don't really think of Andrew Garfield as Spider-Man.
I
those are my
think that
picks.
is an absolutely best. That is absolutely the best way to put it. I think about the other three as Spider-Man before Andrew even comes into my brain.
Yeah.
And now Andrew comes into my brain like 3 seconds later, but those three
Yeah.
are first. So
Yeah.
I would actually. Oh yeah.
And I think for a lot of people too, real quick, that I feel like Tom Holland and Toby are very interchangeable. I feel like for a lot of people that they can switch 1 and 2 just like that. But
Oh, look at that! Danielle says I might have Tom and Andrew tied for last. So this is my trouble here. I think I'm gonna go a little bit crazy right now. Are you ready for this?
oh boy,
Now this could change tomorrow, but I think I'm gonna go Jake Johnson #1.
wow!
I think I'm gonna go. I just
Jake
love
Johnson,
that.
number
I just
one.
love that category, and also that whole category of Spider-Man, like you said, the down and out, the downtrodden, the beat up, the everything is lost. You know what I mean? And what I will say is, talking a little bit about Spider-Man 3, if we are getting multiple Spider-Man, I would sooner want Jake Johnson to be live action Spider-Man, because I mean the character model looks like him enough. You could just have Jake Johnson in the suit. I would rather have Jake Johnson appear in live action as Peter Parker in Spider-Man 3 than Andrew Garfield. For me, I would much rather have it be Tom Holland, Tobey Maguire, and Jake Johnson. Just because Jake Johnson, and I mean, it goes to show you that I love this interpretation of Spider-Man so much, and it's not even his movie. It's Miles' movie. You know what I mean? Like like he made that much of an impression as like the secondary character. I mean, I don't know. I don't know about that. I might call him the co-lead of the movie, but it's Miles' movie, but Peter is in it like for almost every scene.
Just to throw a quick like wrench into the rankings, where would you put PS4's Spider-Man?
Oh, Yuri Lowenthal? I would put him.
Do you know? I don't actually really know. I was just wondering.
You know what? Let's just bust this open, and now we're not going into Miles territory. This is just Peter Parker's. This is what I'm going to put. #1, I would put Jake Johnson. #2, I would put Tom Holland. #3, Tobey Maguire. #4, I would put Yuri Lowenthal, Spider-Man PS4. Very, very good. Not as good as Tom, Toby, or Jake, but very, very good. I love that character. Then I would put actually Chris Pine, Peter Parker from Spider-Verse. The Peter that dies, that opens the movie.
Oh, right.
Because that is one of the most heart-wrenching... Oh my God. Also, sorry, spoilers for a movie that is literally only 2 years old. I should have said that, but it's like the first 5 minutes. But in 5 minutes of playing Spider-Man, I think that Chris Pine captures it completely, especially in the scene with Miles, his actual death scene. And then I would put Andrew last. I'm sorry. And to me, you have to understand, none of them are bad. Oh yeah, Drake Bell is actually a really good
I didn't even know
Spider-Man
he
too.
voiced Spider-Man.
He does Spider-Man in like all the animated shows.
Yeah. Okay.
He is really, really good. We'll do some Drake Bell talk. He is very, very good as Spider-Man. Really, really great. I one of the only reasons I watched Disney XD was for the Spider-Man Drake Bell shows and Rebels. That's pretty much it. But where would you throw, if you had to throw in both Spider-Man PS4 and the Chris Pine one? How do you rank all six? All six Peter Parkers that we've gotten?
Pine, I'd probably put it below Andrew, because I don't think about it. That's not in my mind state whatsoever. Yuri, I would probably put above Garfield, because I like you love that character.
Yeah,
but then Andrew would probably be second last.
And then just your original 4 up there.
Yeah, and then the same 4.
Yeah, that's what I think. I mean, I think it's just I just think it's amazing that we're at a point in 2020 that we can have a conversation about how do you rank your 6 your 6 favorite Peter Parkers that we've seen. Well, Yuri wasn't on screen, but still close enough. Like that's not like a TV show. You know what I mean? I mean, some might argue that Spider-Man PS4 has more production value than some of these movies. So I think he counts a lot for playing the character. But just amazing that we're at this point and we've had 6 Peter Parkers. And even other characters as well.
Yeah, we definitely had more that we're just not talking about.
Yeah, there's more
other animated series, like other than Drake Bell.
Exactly, but even that, I mean, then you got to look. We've also had Miles's. We've had other variations of Parkers and and Spider-Man and stuff in that, with like Spider-Man Noir and Penny Parker and Spider-Ham and stuff like that. But yeah. I just think, to me, I just think Chris Pine is the dark horse of that. To me, I just think literally in that one scene where with him and Miles in the beginning of the movie he just exudes Peter Parker to me, especially in his death. When he tells him, I put that scene right up there with Jensen's death in the first Iron Man, and Stanley Tucci's death in Captain America. I put those 3 scenes right in the same thing. The mentor dying right as the relationship was beginning. Didn't get enough time, that type of thing. And I think Chris Pine really, really sold that. I genuinely think he brought a lot to the role, even though it was so short. But yeah, so I guess that will do it for Shooting the Shit this week. So our final order, which is another thing that we do, is depending on the Shooting the Shit topic, we will throw the final order to you guys, which is, go ahead and follow us on Twitter at Planet Film Pod. Go ahead and follow us on Instagram at Planet_Film Pod. You will see it. You'll see the logo. And go ahead and, comment, hit the like button, subscribe. Yeah, absolutely.
Review on the podcast platforms.
Yeah, review on the podcast, but absolutely. Review on iTunes. I don't really know what it does yet, but every podcast I listen to says that iTunes really helps, so do that. I don't know. We'll figure it out if we ever get trending or get on one of the boards there. But yeah, definitely review us on your podcast platform of choice. Hell, review us on all the podcast platforms. I just want to say on the Twitter and the Instagram, right after the show, immediately right now, I am going to post on Instagram the One Has to Go challenge for Spider-Man. Comment, who would you go? Or if you listen to the show, if you know, I'm not going to post it, but rank them. We'll see. We'll do a little experiment. We'll see who actually listened to the show, because we'll get some comments that are just One Has to Go, and we'll get some comments that are in the know with their rankings. So do that. Yeah, and then we'll just cap it off by saying, I am Sean Monk. As always, I am at Paste Eating Yak on Twitter. You can find me there. TJ? I'm
TJ Cornwell, and I'm at TJ_Cornwell on Twitter as well, and Instagram.
Yeah, perfect. And I think I'm I need to change mine, but I think I'm at, it's too complicated. It's my name backwards with a 17, but I'll see if I can get it changed to Paste Eating Yak to make it easier. But anyways, all right, guys, as we say every week, I think that'll do it for this week's episode of Planet Film. Always make sure to stay safe, be excellent to one another, and party on, dudes. We'll catch you in the next one.